I have to say that I've been incredibly impressed with the UCL partnership that we've had. I've also been conscious through Teams and through forums of a level of negativity. I suppose ECTs and mentors I've not been involved in those forums, and I have to say that from a Leeds Teaching School Hub perspective, it is something that we have just not been. We've had no sense of the negativity that I think is not about UCL. It's probably about the framework in general and about a new way of operating. In terms of the UCL programme, I like the fact that we have dedicated people who we work with. So, for example, you know, our monthly meetings with you or half-termly meetings, we find incredibly useful. We find the level of communication, the speed with which we may have a query, and we know that we will get feedback very, very promptly. And not just via a Teams platform, but you know, through phone calls if we need to make a phone call, or through email responses we've found to be incredibly swift. So in terms of working with UCL, we would have no complaints at all. We think we have a great relationship. I also think, and I think great praise must be made here to Mark Quinn for the quality of the materials that have been produced, because I think they are a class product.
UCL have exceeded our expectations in terms of the way we work together in partnership. I think one thing myself and my colleagues really value is that opportunity to give regular feedback, to ask questions, to go to UCL if we're having any teething problems. And we find the response is always very sensitive, it's very quick. I know that I valued being a member of the governance group, where we have an opportunity to shape the direction of travel. And I know colleagues leading on the early career framework at the coalface, as it were, have enjoyed the opportunity to speak at the operations group as well. And I think that really contributes to the quality of the programme, because we are continually together developing our offer.
One of the big things that we found since this started, which feels like an age ago now, around May, June time, is the fact that UCL, there have been bumps in the road because this whole thing is new, but actually from our perspective, UCL are extremely responsive. You actually listen to any of the concerns that we've got, and it's very much is a partnership. We work together to find the solutions, rather than, you know, it just being dictated to and being done to. It's being done with, very much so.
Delighted with how things are going in our partnership with UCL. The two things that I would say would characterise it most strongly are exactly what we hoped would happen from what you sold it to us as. You said this would be a partnership, this would be something where we would take on board feedback, we'd both take on board feedback from each other, we'd have those challenging conversations where we needed to, not that we've needed many of those, but you know, when we need to, we will, because it is about getting the best possible support that we can to teachers at the start of their careers and to mentors as well. So we absolutely have. That's exactly been the experience of us in the first kind of year of working with you. We have had the opportunity to give feedback, to be collaborating, to work on processes, to say this is going great, can we keep that? But also this is something, could we do that slightly differently? We've done those things together, and that continuously looking to improve and take on board feedback, but not only from us, from the early career teachers, from the induction leads, from the mentors. That really does feel like a collaboration. So that's exactly what we were hoping it would be. And then the second thing that I'm really pleased by, Stephen, I have to say, is the communication. I think it's been so important, especially as this whole process is evolving and developing around us as we're trying to deliver as best we can. The communication has been really, really strong. And one of the things that you've provided from UCL for us, which I think has been really, really important, has been key link people. So we know exactly, and we can build a relationship with the people that we need to go to have a conversation about strategic work. We know exactly who to go to have a conversation about more operational matters, when we've got particular issues around individuals, things that might need some tweaking or some answers in bespoke cases for individual ECTs and mentors and schools. And then thirdly, for finance, very clear and good communication both ways at all three of those levels. So strategically, there's key people to link with, including yourself, operationally around all the administration and making it work, and then also around the finance elements. All of that two-way communication has been really strong. So that's been very important. So those are the two things I think I would characterise as my experience of UCL thus far, both of which have been very positive.
It's the communication and the clarity with which UCL communicate, and also the speed as well. So we're not dealing with some sort of anonymous sort of body. So that has been really, really helpful. The other thing I think is working very, very well is the learning platform, UCL Extend. Largely, it's an intuitive learning platform. And I think we know from feedback from our ECTs in particular how useful they're finding those materials and fitting them to their own context. So that's been really good. The other key thing that comes through very strongly is this is for schools by schools as well. So we feel as though we've all have a part in the development of this programme. And the fact that it's written by, it has been co-written in part by school leaders, plus key researchers at UCL. So we know we've got the very best up-to-date research that is all coming into this programme. So I think this is what is making it so successful.